Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a break with Stephen Shamus.
Welcome back, Alex. How are you? Good to see you today.
Wonderful. Sounds
Happy
great.
New Year.
Happy New
Year.
Year.
It's a fresh year.
Yes.
We're still on the air. They haven't taken us off yet. They haven't kicked us out.
YouTube emailed me, and there were some things that we had to work out, but I paid them off. We're good to go.
Okay. We didn't violate any policies, did we?
No.
Okay. All right, good. So we got a great show today.
Yes.
Always some new, fresh stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like finding new, fresh stuff. I like finding some diamonds in the roughs here and there. We try to do our research here for you folks out there. If you feel like we're missing something or you want to participate, let us know. But Alex, what do we have on tap for today? We got some cool stuff.
We got a fun list. We're going to talk about Something is Killing the Children. We're going to talk about America Chavez, Tim Fox, the strange son of Lucius, Mandarin Spawn, because the Spawn stuff's going bananas. Let's talk about Marvel team-ups in a certain black costume. We'll talk about another Miles Morales book that most people might not know about. And talk Nick Fury, the current Nick Fury.
Current incarnation.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so Alex, what are you going to lead us off with?
Yeah, let's talk about Something is Killing the Children. Boom hit.
Yeah, this is a boom hit. There are a lot of different variations on the cover, so you're going to have to pay very, very close attention today. These books have been skyrocketing in value. They've been multiple printings. They're up to its 6th printing already on issue number 1. Why does this book keep selling out, and what's going on there?
I believe it's selling out because the concept of the book is fresh. It's almost Stranger Things, inside of it. The premise is essentially some kids go missing in a village. Some of them do come back, and they have these wild, crazy stories about monsters. Some of the adults believe them, some of them don't. And then a monster hunter comes to town and is like, I'm here to help you kill these monsters. And it's just this crazy kind of scary fiction story. It's written by James Tynion, who is Scott Steiner's protege, essentially. They came in together, and it's just really well received. It's really good. It's on time. It's a good book, solid book.
James has a lot of hits, by the way. We talk about him a lot.
Yes.
We talk about him a lot. He's got some good ideas. Okay, so let's start out. So in September of 2019, from Boom, as you said, first issue came out, and there are 651 blue label 9.8s. There are 40 gold label 9.8s, and that's about a $300 book on a 651 pop, by the way.
Big, yeah.
So it's a decent pop. These Image #1 books, they do get the Boom books, the Image books, they do get decently ordered. I wouldn't say it was, and James Tynion,
30K for the first order. I mean, again, it wasn't out of nowhere. James Tynion's a well-known comic writer.
Right, but now you're going to get into the variations and the prints and the different ones. So we're going to get into that in a minute. It's going to be very, very tricky to listen to this stuff. So pay very close attention, because a lot of times also when people are selling these books on eBay or at the stores, you say second print, you say third print, you say this cover, you say that cover. And unless you know who the artist is, sometimes it's very difficult to locate them. Also, they did something very, very interesting with this series, Alex, is on the subsequent printings and on the different books, they did a couple of versions where it was a version of another version, but most of the covers are new covers.
Yeah.
So they actually put new covers on a lot of these. So pay very close attention here, because it's a very, very interesting what they did. And I think that's probably also part of the reason why these books are highly collectible, because they're like, oh, this is the sketch cover, and this is the color one, and this is the partial cover. They did an interesting job with this. So there's the normal variant edition, right? Which is the Jay Lee Virgin cover. And there are 210 blue label 9.8s. There are 31 gold label 9.8s, and that's about a $200 book. So that's the regular variant of the #1. Then they had the second print.
Right.
Second print is by Danny. I actually love the work.
Yeah.
And I actually bought a piece recently from Cadence. I haven't gotten it yet, but it's pretty awesome. I bought a Harley Quinn piece from the cover of Harley Quinn. So that was pretty awesome. Anyway, there's only 13 blue label 9.8s. There's only 1 gold label 9.8. That's about a $200 book. So the second print is very, very hard to find. So again, if you are at a shop, that might be a good book to pick up. Then the third print is a Nick Robles cover. There are 23 blue label 9.8s. There are 0 gold label 9.8s. Again, not a high print run book. It's about a $75 book. That might be a good pickup right now for that one. Then on the 4th print cover, they put a Lee Garbett cover on there. There's 31 blue label 9.8s. There's 0 gold label 9.8s, and that one's $125. On the 5th printing, they put a Werther Del Adera cover on. That one came out in November. So that one came out 2 months after the first few printings. And there are 18 blue label 9.8s. There are 0 gold label 9.8s, and that's about a $200 book. Jeez. And then the 6th printing came out in February of this year, which has an Adam Gorham cover on it.
Love Adam Gorham stuff. With
21 blue label 9.8s, 0 gold label 9.8s, and that's a $350 cover. So all the first run of books have completely different covers and different cover artists. That's clever, by the way. I don't know that we've ever seen that before.
It's smart. Why not give them a new art? You know, I mean, that's what these books are. They're art.
Right. So now let's go into the variants, the different variations.
A lot of stores, yeah.
Oh my God, a lot of stores. Okay, so there's the Black Cape edition.
Mm-hmm.
There were only 500 numbered books. It's a Joseph Schmalke cover. So again, another different cover. There are 34 blue label 9.8s. There are 6 gold label 9.8s, and those are $800. If that store either still has them or people got them, again, we've talked about this before. When the store gets them, they go right into bags and backboards. So people who have them out there, if you bought that Black Cape book, send it into CGC or try to buy a raw one because chances are they're going to be in high grade because they didn't go through the system and get handled.
Yep.
Okay. Then there's the Comics and Oddities edition. There are 58 blue label 9.8s. 9 gold label 9.8s. That's Jenny Frison. That's a black and white blood variant. So it's very interesting. The whole cover is black and white, and then there's a little bit of blood on the knife.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they did a nice version with that. There are 58 blue label 9.8s. There are 9 gold label 9.8s, and that's a $500 book. So again, if you can get to that store, buy a copy raw, it's a good book to send in. Then there's the Comics and Oddities foil edition. Okay, and it's a virgin cover. There are 74 blue label 9.8s. There are 12 gold label 9.8s. As a matter of fact, there's one 9.9. That one is selling for $800. Even though the pop is higher, I bet you the overall print run on the foil one is much, much lower.
And foil's beautiful. So
Right. And then the next book, Alex, is the Local Comic Shop Day edition, which was just released a few weeks ago. There is no pop yet on it because it just came out and people have to have time to send it in. It's about a $6 to $10 raw book right now. Again, it's got a Werther Del Adera cover on it.
Beautiful.
So if you can pick that up for $6 or $10, you already know it's going to be another hit. Why not? I mean, you're starting to look at the last Ronins. These companies are getting smart, giving the shops exclusives, small runs. The books are going way high, and the shops are making out great on all these exclusives because it gives them a new product mix. You know, it used to be you had to be a Midtown, you had to be a My Comic Shop, you had to be a Lone Star, you had to order thousands and thousands of copies. With the booms and you know, some of these other smaller publishers, you know, a Dynamite, you can order smaller quantities, Last Ronin too, and the retailers at 500, 600, whatever copies, they can afford to do that. They can afford to take that risk on a hot title. Okay. Then there's the New York Comic Con edition, which is the J. Lee Virgin Sketch. So it's the J. Lee Virgin Normal edition, but it's the sketch version of that. That was only at New York Comic Con. There was only 500 made of those, Alex. There are 37 blue label 9.8s. There are 5 gold label 9.8s, and that book is about $650. And then there was the Diamond Retailer edition, okay, which had the Jenny Frison black and white sketch cover. There are 24 blue labels of those 9.8s. There are 3 gold label 9.8s. That's about a $500 book. That's got to be a tough one to find because, you know, Diamond gives out, you know, you go to the retail summit, they give you all sorts of stuff, but the retailers are hip to it now. They know when they get stuff, they're not giving it away.
But it's not every retailer. I mean, you're talking maybe 100, 200 retailers.
A couple of hundred, right?
Yeah.
And then the original Jenny Frison cover, which is the basis of all the black and whites, the black and white with the blood, whatever, that was an unlocked retailer edition. So there are actually 602 blue label 9.8s of those. Huge. There are 52 gold label 9.8s, and that's about $160 book. So that's an affordable book, but it is a high kind of population there, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah. And this book is probably going to be eaten up by a movie studio, television studio soon. Buy them now.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. I mean, 50-50. It's either they are or they're not, but yeah.
Alex and Steve, you heard it here first. If you make a lot of money on it, it was because of me. If it goes bust, it's Alex's idea.
Sure, I'll take it.
That's pretty good. All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Yeah, let's talk America Chavez.
Yeah, one of the announcements from the Disney investor meeting. By the way, how brilliant was that to wrap the investor meeting with all the announcements? Because all of a sudden everyone's watching the investor meeting.
Yep. Which, right? I mean, 10 years ago, nobody cared about that stuff. The investor meeting, it's a new thing. It's fun.
No. And we're going to go through one by one a whole bunch of cool stuff that got announced recently, and we're going to kind of go through it one by one here. But that's Vengeance #1.
Yep. From
September of 2011 is the first appearance. This book is on fire. Mm-hmm. On fire, Alex. There are 262 Blue Label 9.8s. There are 10 Gold Label 9.8s. It's about a $750 book. Talk to us about America Chavez and Miss America.
Yeah, I mean, she's not that old of a character, a few years. She is a character from a parallel dimension. They had like a kind of a war. She came to the 616 universe, got involved with Loki and the Young Avengers. She's kind of in that kind of group of like Wiccan and Kate Bishop and Hulkling and stuff. But super fan favorite. I mean, she's been around for a little while. She is one of Marvel's first Latina and LGBTQ plus characters, and it's good. She's a great character, and it's weird how they're bringing her in because I believe she's coming through in the Doctor Strange movie, which that's an odd way to bring her in, but it makes sense. Multiverse of Madness. I mean, she's not from the 616 universe.
Right. All right. Well, again, it's already a pricey book, so maybe you have to buy a raw one somewhere. It is a #1 title. It is 9 years old already. Yeah. But it is a #1 title, so it was probably decently ordered. Yeah. But again, it's been banging around for 9 years already, in comic book boxes and stuff. So who knows what they look like? But if you can get a raw copy out there, it's probably a good bet. Even in a 9.6, you'll probably be able to move it. Okay, what do we got next, Alex? This next one is a hot one.
Yeah, Future State, Tim Fox.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about how this character just out of nowhere. Just the book went from the common bins. Yeah. When there used to be comic book shows, there used to be an opportunity to go to the shows and maybe get a little tip, hit the boxes. You can't do that anymore. No. Something gets announced, boom, it's on eBay. It's 10 times the price. So talk to us a little bit about Tim Fox, where it went from the 50-cent or cover price bins to all of a sudden the hottest book going on. What's going on? Yeah.
So Batman character Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman, most recently in the Batman Begins movies, is the estranged son of Lucius Fox, Tim Fox is. And he hasn't been talked about in maybe 30 years, 25 years. Lucius Fox's children have been in the books. I mean, his daughter was in the Red Robin stuff. His other son was in the Batman books. And, I think it was Batwing at some point. Like, they've been around, but not Tim Fox. I mean, they went to the bottom of the barrel to bring this guy out. And he's going to be the Batman in the Future Slate stuff.
Right. It's crazy, right?
It's nuts.
So first appearance was July of 1979.
Right. Yeah.
How about that? Batman 313. By the way, it's a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez cover. Oh. It's a great cover, by the way.
One of the kids.
His work is kind of underrated, I think. He doesn't get mentioned with a lot
I think he's your real comic fan, artist fan. Yeah.
His work is starting to get appreciated a little bit more. Yeah. So because it's from 1979, it is a tough book in the higher grades. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the medium to lower grades on what you can expect to find it in. The books are about $275 raw. And again, on eBay, you always have to be a little bit skeptical about somebody describing a grade without actually having it CGC graded, because people are not experts the way CGC is. They don't go page by page. They don't go, square inch by square inch and look it over the way the CGC does. So $275 is what you would expect to pay for a VF type book. So there are only 17 9.8 blue labels. We're only going to talk about blue labels here because it's from 1979. So it's no point in going over the gold label pop on it. There are 17 blue label 9.8s, very, very low. 15 9.6s, very, very low. 11 9.4 blue labels, very, very low. So we'll talk about 8.0. because that's really where the pop starts to pop. So that's about a $600 book in 8.0. I think that's a good buy. Again, if the future state stuff sticks, DC is looking into the multiverses for their television, for their film futures. This is where they're dipping into. This is the pool they're dipping into. So you can expect more from that. So I think you buy yourself a nice 8.0, 8.5, try to find one with white pages. Maybe it's off-white to white pages. That's okay too. Expect to pay about $600. That's only going to go up. I don't think you sit around and wait for a 9.4, 9.6, or 9.8. It's just going to be too expensive, too long a wait, and you're just going to have to pay too much for it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, Alex, that brings us to the time of the show where we get to hear your turn to pick something. So here we go. It's Alex's pick of the week. Alex, what do you got for us?
Yeah, moving in. I'm a Star Wars guy. I can never talk enough.
You like Star Wars?
I know it's hard with everything I talk about. But recently, a good friend of mine, Dennis, shout out, sent me a episode 1 puzzle, but it is a 3D puzzle of Jar Jar Binks, and it is amazing. I have yet to build it.
Did you put it together yet?
I have not yet. I have not. It's
been show
tough
us the
for
box
me.
at least.
I'll put up a picture up right here. It is huge. It comes with a plinth, but it's a 3D Jar Jar Binks. You put one piece at a time, and it builds it up.
I've seen those 3D puzzles. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So
and this is episode 1. This is vintage, so I don't know how he kept it this long.
So you don't mind Jar Jar Binks?
I don't care. Whatever.
I know. I think people overblew. It was overblown a little bit.
The movies were for kids. It's a kids movie, and that's a kid's character. Yeah. What do you?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I know, and they sold a lot of toys too.
Hey, all the love to Ahmed Best, pioneer.
By the way, we had him at our show in New York back in
Motion Capture.
It was one and only appearance he did our show back like 10 years ago.
Motion Capture was like he invented it pretty much. He helped invent all the way.
Yeah, I liked him.
Did. Yeah,
I thought he was good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Alex. So what do we got next?
Let's talk about Mandarin Spawn. We talked about Gunslinger a couple shows ago, but
yeah, so we're jumping on the Spawn train here.
Yeah.
Every episode, every week, we seem to turn over a new rock that reveals another version of Spawn that all of a sudden is a $500 book out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like not like 100, 150. It's like all of a sudden something catches and then characters $500.
Yeah.
So that his first appearance, Mandarin Spawn, was Spawn 165, February of 2007. So it's 13 years ago already. All the Spawns have very decent print runs, very healthy print runs. You can find Spawn back issues. Spawn is one of those back issues where stores stock Spawn.
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't say that 5 times fast.
Stock Spawn.
Stores stock Spawn back issues.
Yes,
which we know they do. So you should be able to find this. I don't know. You're going to find it in the cheapo bin anymore. But there are 68 blue label 9.8s. There are 15 gold label 9.8s, probably Todd. There is one 9.9 blue label, and that it's in 9.8. They're selling for about $500 right now. Talk to us. Why Mandarin Spawn? What is going on with these spawns, these different spawns, which all of a sudden there's like a match. It lights it like a fire.
I think one of the things you're going to see with Spawn is when 300 came out, it was such a huge moment for independent comics and Todd McFarlane and the resurgence of that character, people being interested in it. I'm sure the print runs for Spawn now than 10 years ago are doubled or tripled. I mean, it's just people are back into it. Things go in waves. We talked about Ninja Turtles. We talked about it. Transformers, Star Wars, things go in waves. They go out and they come back in. And this is one of those things where older issues aren't easy to find. Spawn collectors keep their stuff. And these are first appearances. You never know. A Spawn movie could be, great, and then they could bring in the Gunslinger. They could bring Mandarin Spawn. I mean, you see it with Marvel movies. Like these side characters are coming in, and they're casting big parts for them. So it could be something to do with that. It's just people just want these books.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Spider-Man black costume. We all know 252 is the one, but there's another book.
Yeah, so we've been paying attention, and over the last, I would say, 9 months, you've seen an explosion in value in Spidey 298, Spidey 299, Spidey 300, Spidey 344, anything Venom, Carnage
Keys,
related,
super keys, yeah,
has been going absolutely crazy. And I think what started to happen is people became very savvy. And we're going to talk about this book, and then the next book that we're going to talk about, it's the same thing, is people are starting to dig in, and they're finding these, oh, well, what about this? And then what about this? And then what about this? And then all of a sudden, it's exploding the values on some of these other books that up until now were sort of relegated to, oh, that's not whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Marvel Team Up number 141 came out in May of 1984. On the CGC holder, it says, came out the same month as Amazing Spider-Man 252.
Yep.
And that book is, forget about it. That book's $1,000 in 9.8 right now.
Yeah.
This also has the black costume on the cover, Alex.
Yeah.
Very undervalued. The pop is way, way, way lower.
Yeah.
343 blue label 9.8s, 57 gold label 9.8s, and it's a $650 book today. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why this book, and I understand the homage cover on 252. I get it. Mm-hmm. It's got the homage cover, so aesthetically, it's what people are used to seeing.
First Amazing Spider-Man black costume, the big run, yeah.
But there's no reason why this black costume book. Now, by the way, this book has been creeping up too. This book kind of exploded out of nowhere, double, tripled in price in the last 6 months. So I would expect that to continue because everything Venom, everything Carnage in anticipation of the second film has been on fire.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also, Sinister Six and, Spider-Man and all the other stuff that's coming out.
It's not cooling off. Spider-Man and anything to do with Spider-Man is not cooling off whatsoever.
Right. And that leads us to our next book. What's the next book, Alex?
Marvel Previews number 95.
Right. So Marvel, before every solicitation, would send out
3 months ahead of time.
A few months in advance, ahead of time, what was coming out. It just so happens that the Marvel Previews from July of 2011 had the Miles Morales cover on it. Now, typically, these are order form type books. They're disposable.
Yes.
They're not kept. And even when they're used, they're read. They're used to read. They're not used to
rip pages out, mark stuff down, dog ear them. Yeah.
Right. And when you're talking about 2011, today, I look at everything electronically. I don't print anything out. I don't read anything. So even if I don't read the previews anymore and I don't read any of the books anymore, I go online to get it. Okay. But back in 2011, retailers still did that. And so if you think about all the elements is, yes, Marvel sent out, 4,000, 5,000 copies of these things. Yes, the retailers got them. But when you think about how many of them were handled, how many of them were written on, pulled out pages, again, it's an order form. They get folded, they get bent, they get store copy. They write on the cover. Remember, you'd write store copy on the front and you'd leave it out for people to go through and pick out what they wanted. So these were disposable. Finding these copies are impossible. There's no telling how many actual copies are still out there, right? So there are 6 Blue Label 9.8, Alex. The last one sold for almost $10,000.
Bananas. That is absolutely crazy for an order.
I don't know you're going to see another Blue Label. I don't even know if you're going to find it because, again, it's not like a comic book that they put in a bag and a board. This is something that was totally disposable.
It's something that if you're a collector and you collected these and you put them away nicely, you're not getting rid of it. This is part of your run. You're not going to go back and get another copy. They're not going.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody would have ever thought. And like you said, it was a few months in advance. So at the time, no one's saying, "Oh, I'm going to save that previous." I think the only copies that existed were just by chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because if you think about it, any modern day new appearance, America Chavez, Miss Marvel, they're going to be in previews and they're going to be 3 months before it. I mean, I know The Walking Dead #1 previews was going for a little bit of money, but 10, 15, 20 bucks, nothing crazy. That was the big giant catalog, not the small Marvel one. This sets a precedence for people to be like, oh, I want Miss Marvel's first appearance in the Marvel previews. I'm going to go back and grab that. Where are they? How can I find it?
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. What's our final topic for today, Alex?
Yeah, let's talk about the modern Nick Fury.
Right. So the Nick Fury that everyone is familiar with in our life is the Sam Jackson Nick Fury. That's the Nick Fury they know. But in the comic books for many, many years, that Nick Fury was white. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until
David Hasselhoff.
Right, David Hasselhoff.
Made for TV movie. Yeah.
It wasn't until 2001 when we saw the first African-American Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're going to get a book, you know, again, collectors want what they see in front of them was what they see on the screen. That's why I'm waiting. When are we going to see the Hawkman? You know, they you know, all this is going to play Hawkman. When are you going to see the African-American Hawkman in the comic books, right? When are you going to see that? Because that's what people are going to want to see. Same thing with Captain Marvel. When you know, Captain Marvel started out as a male character, now it's a female character.
Yeah.
So, you know, Marvel has done a very good job of giving you what you're seeing on the screen, because otherwise people will be like, I don't understand, why is Nick Fury white in the comic books?
Yeah, they completely changed the Guardians look and outfits as soon as the movie was a hit. You know, the comics reflected that very quickly.
100%. So it has a Mike Allred cover, by the way. It's a great cover. Ultimate Marvel Team Up, number 5, from August of 2001. Alex, there's only 8 Blue Label 9.8s. There's only 2 Gold Label 9.8s. Now, the Ultimate line did sell very well.
Yes.
So there are definitely copies out there. You can buy them raw. You should be able to find these books. Even the Ultimate Marvel Team Up, which is not one of their key titles,
right?
They exist.
Yeah.
The last one sold for $900, but who even knows what the next one's going to sell for?
Yeah.
You know, because again, the pop is so low. I would expect more of these to be in there. And remember, Sam Jackson's been Nick Fury for a long time now, so it's not like, oh, he just became Nick Fury.
And now he's got his own TV show, so coming out on Disney Plus, a miniseries or whatever. So it's not going to go anywhere.
Right. And then also there was a book called the Checkers Reprint. I'm not that familiar with what the Checkers Reprint is. There are 5 blue labels of those, 0 gold labels. It's the same Ultimate Marvel Team Up number 5. That book there's no pop around. It's about $150 raw book. Believe it or not, it's listed as coming out in June of 2001, but listed as a reprint. I'm not sure how that worked, where it came out 2 months prior, but it's still listed as a reprint.
Book. I think
maybe
it's
a promo book. Yeah. Way it was distributed or whatever. But quite frankly, if you can get that book raw at $150, I would buy it right now. Even if you got a 9.6 on it, there's literally no pop on it.
It's like the Batman Beyond #1 Six Flags edition.
Yeah, remember that one? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can't even get that raw.
I had a couple of them, and I think I just trashed them. I don't know.
You trashed all your stuff, Alex.
I know.
Your Star Wars toys.
Who'd have thunk?
Star Wars toys. They're all broken.
Yeah.
Paint smeared off, heads ripped off.
Gnaw marks.
Yeah. You know which toys I also loved when I was a kid? I used to have the Batman, the Batman TV show toys. I used to love those toys.
Yeah,
the little Batmobile.
Yeah.
The little Batmobile. Oh, I love those toys. I destroyed those too. All right, Alex. I think that's it for today.
Yep.
We love having you guys. If you guys have any comments, put it in the comments field, and we will see you next week. Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.